This is the plaintiff, Julius. He says the defendant, his ex-girlfriend, falsely accused him of violating an order of protection. Criminal charges were brought up on him, and he ended up losing his job over it. Once he showed the cops his phone records, the charges were dropped, but the damage was done to his good name. He's suing for $3,000 for 8 weeks' lost wages. This is the defendant, Morgan. She says the plaintiff got into a real tither once she got a new boyfriend and began harassing her mercilessly by phone. She told him to stop, but things got worse, so she filed an order of protection against him. Well, he started texting her disgusting and derogatory things, showed up at her job, and everything that happened to him is 100% his fault. Oh, and for losing his job? No way. She's accused of not letting go.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says his ex-girlfriend framed him by claiming falsely that he violated a stay-away order, says he lost his job as a result. But the defendant says he was insanely jealous when she got a new boyfriend and went nuts. It's the case of love. Ain't it a bitch?
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Julius, you've asked us not to mention your last name. You are suing your former girlfriend. Okay, you want to just be referred to as Morgan? All right. Julius, you're suing Morgan for $3,000, the statutory maximum in your state. According to you, you're out actually more than that for lost wages because you were fired as a result of what you say were malicious lies on her part. Tell me what occurred.
Well, in April, the defendant's grandmother was in the hospital. We hadn't spoken for a while before that.
How long had you dated?
About a year. Okay. We hadn't spoken for about 2 months prior to that. So I found out the grandmother was sick. I reached out to her. We spoke. We had a phone conversation. I actually went to visit her in the hospital while the grandmother was there.
Oh, you went to visit who? The grandmother or her?
The defendant.
Okay.
3 days later, I called her in the morning to see if everything was still okay. The grandmother was on life support. So I was checking up. The new boyfriend answered the phone, and me and him started to argue. And he's telling me everything he was going to do to me, things of that nature. He also told me he was going to have her get an order of restraint so I couldn't call her while he wasn't around. So that came through in the mail. I went to court.
What came through in the mail?
The temporary order of restraint came through in the mail, so I had to show up in court. I signed off as a voluntary order of restraint. I gave it to her.
Never a good idea.
It worked out fine, I thought.
Until you got arrested?
Until
yeah, okay, so it didn't work out so well.
I got more charges.
Go ahead.
I got more charges in the mail stating that I violated that order of restraint by calling the new boyfriend's phone, which I'd never had a phone
number. Calling the new boyfriend's phone?
Yes, over 400 times, stating our sexual history, that she has AIDS, and I used to fondle her child.
Those charges were received in the mail?
Yes, they were. They were in my mailbox.
Why don't they send up a smoke signal? How do they not? I mean, if those are the charges, why don't they arrest you?
Well, when I went to court for it, they brought me downstairs and processed me.
Okay.
So I would, so stemming from that, I got a letter from the Department of Health that got sent to my job stating I was arrested for these new charges.
What kind of job did you have?
I was a activities director at a rehab center in Rockland County.
What kind of rehab?
It was for like assisted living, stuff like that. People with
physical rehab?
Physical rehab, yes.
What did they do with you?
They fired me.
They fired you. Okay. And so the criminal case, what happened to that?
That was dismissed.
And why was it dismissed?
They said they reached out to the defendant, also the boyfriend. Nobody returned phone calls. Nobody showed up in court.
Let me see.
And I have the phone records also, like to show that I wasn't.
Did you call the boyfriend?
No. And the funny thing is, there's no.
The boyfriend and the boyfriend's brother,
yes,
right?
Yes.
The allegation against you is that you called over 400 times the boyfriend and the boyfriend's brother and said all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, it tells you in this, it gives you the statement that I just gave you, the charges, and it's showing that she was the one that talked to the police officer and gave the complaint from the boyfriend in California.
But you can't file a complaint on behalf of somebody else.
Well, that's what they.
What is it that happened here? What's going on?
Okay, So like he said, we didn't have contact for a while. It wasn't until I actually got a new boyfriend and it was put on social media that I had a boyfriend that he started contacting me again.
Proving once again that living your lives as publicly as
So then
you
all of a sudden
live them.
now I started getting contact from the plaintiff. My grandmother was sick. Somehow he found out that she was sick, contacted me. I did not want to be contacted. I didn't want him to visit. I didn't want to be bothered.
What was the cause of the breakup?
Just regular nonsense. I just didn't want to be bothered anymore. We had just moved on from each other. Like he said, it had been a year. We broke up, got back together, broke up. So it was just...
It was over for you.
It was over for me.
But it was not over for him?
Apparently not.
Okay, so go on.
So he was still trying to text me and call. And I said, can you please stop calling and texting me? He's like, I don't, you know.
Do you have any of those texts?
I changed my phone number for that same purpose. So I don't have them. But what happened was my boyfriend answered the phone and said, dude, stop texting her and calling her. Like, she does not want to speak to you. So they start to argue with each other. So he
And I imagine that only made it worse.
Only made it worse. So
because now it's quien es más macho.
Right. So his attempts got more aggressive. So my boyfriend said, I think you should go ahead and get an order of protection because it doesn't seem like he's going to leave you alone. So in the meantime, there's still contact between my boyfriend's brother because what happened was he called from his brother's phone. Well, he didn't have, his phone was dead or something.
Well, I don't know who you're referring to when you say he, because there's three
My
guys.
boyfriend.
Your boyfriend did what?
He called from his brother's phone and said, stop contacting her. She's got to get an order of protection, leave her alone. So
Okay.
I guess he assumed that was my boyfriend's phone number. So in the interim, I guess he thought it was fun or entertaining or whatever to still contact and say these derogatory things about me.
And what did he say?
You know, that I have sexually transmitted diseases, that he touched my son, very like
What did he say
extreme
about
things.
exactly about your? You don't believe that happened, by the way.
No, I don't.
And what did he say? How old's your son?
My son is 8 now.
And what was the exact phrase that he said?
I have it in a text message.
Let me
that
see all the text messages.
So who has more trouble dealing with a breakup? Men or... I didn't even ask yet.
Women.
Why do you say?
They're emotional. It takes them a long time to get over things.
What do you think?
I don't know. Women just take things personally. They're emotional beings.
And men just... Right. What do you think?
Women, fear of abandonment.
Oh, are you with any of the... okay, you got a problem tonight, boo. Anyway, going inside the court.
These are text messages that you obtained from where?
From my boyfriend's brother's phone. Because
How did
I
you
had
obtain
changed-
them?
He emailed them to me. He snapshotted it with his phone number at the top and emailed them to me. And I also have the police report associated with the messages.
I need you to write down on a piece of paper the phone number for your boyfriend and the phone number for your boyfriend's brother. Look, the brother says, look, I don't know what your issue is, but stop texting me. To which the purported response from you is, why would stop texting you, her boo is my boo too? Answer, you are sick. And then the purported response is, I can't even read that out loud. We kissed at the hospital. She was with your brother, her lying blank mother know that.
I also have my lab report that states I don't have any sexual transmitted diseases and I never had.
All kinds of really explicit stuff about where you and he do it, where you did it. Now, according to you, you never texted any of this stuff, right?
No, I never did. And that's why I brought my phone records in. See, at the same time I'm going through this, her son's father's going through the same thing with her, where she's saying that he was harassing her. And I have those records here also, that she was filing as the son's father. There's an app called Spoof.
Okay, hold on. Before you get to that, you have what in your hand?
These are records from the son's father
Saying?
that the same thing was going on with him.
What is the same thing? There's
That
many
he
things
was
here.
texting her over 200 times and things of that
Let me see
nature.
that.
But there's
I'll just get confused. Hold on. It's a lot of paperwork here. Okay. What's the meaning of this?
Later on, after this whole thing passed, I was getting messages from my son's father.
I think it
And
might-
did you file a restraining order against him?
I did.
And was it given to you?
Yes.
And does he now not see the child?
He wasn't for a while.
It's the exact same problem, 16 phone calls. I suppose it could happen twice. Now, according to you, you did not place these phone calls, and what you think happened is that somebody used an app
I know that's what happened.
How do you know?
Because I checked into it. Her son's father had a private investigator, and he found that it was spoof. And if you check at
And tell me about spoof.
spoof is where I can take your phone number, type it into my phone, text somebody or call somebody. It'll show up as your phone number is coming in on their phone. But if you look at my phone records, there's
You
nothing
guarantee
there.
to me that I'm not going to find those two numbers.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
I need your phone records. Here they are. I have them. I have a copy. Dude, the number's all over here.
What number?
It's all over here. The brother. It's all over here. The brother's texting.
400 times, 200 times?
If it's once, it's too much.
Is the first one
oh
coming?
God, I so wanted to finally find an honest man just once in my life. I was so with you. I was so with you. I listened to his story. I said, who would go through the trouble of bringing me 100 pages of phone records unless he was positive the number was not going to be? You have broken my heart. The number's all over here.
I've never called this dude.
Well, then how is this dude's number all over here? She doesn't know what's in your phone records. She writes down this number.
That's the same way when on her records it's showing.
And your answer to me is 400 times? It's impossible. Because I'm now on 12. I've now circled the 12th time that you've texted them.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do with this? I honestly thought. Go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear.
Did he text me first? Or is it going back and forth? I mean, I'm asking, is it just me harassing him?
Wait, is it just you harassing? Well, how many times did you?
Going out,
I don't know. Why don't you tell me how many times did you text him and how many times did he text you? Why don't we start to get real here?
It can't be.
Just tell me. You tell me because you were there. How many times did you text him? How many times did he text you?
It can't be more than 15 texts on there, man.
Did you text him 15 times?
We had dialogue back and forth.
Did you text him 15 times?
Yes.
The guy you looked at me and said under oath a minute ago, you don't know his number, they spoofed you, you are now admitting that you texted him 15 times. Who's the woman with you?
This is a friend of mine.
Who's the one who thinks it's funny? Are you his new girlfriend?
No, it's a friend.
They look that way outside to a few people. Let me just tell you something, honey. Run. Don't walk. Run to the nearest exit. Verdict for the defendant.
All right.
The plaintiff has a chance to come out here and possibly explain a little bit more on why the number for the boyfriend showed up so often in the phone records that you handed over to the judge.
It wasn't often. It may have been 15 times we had dialogue, but that's completely, honestly.
I think you had testified to the judge that you didn't even have the number.
No, like I said, he texted me first. We might have went back and forth. That was it. But if you want to dig deeper into it, you see there was nothing there.
Mm-hmm. And you want to comment at all on what you heard from the judge there?
I don't have nothing to say.
Okay. All right. Is this the end of the line now between you and her?
It's been the end of the line.
All right.
It's been.
All right. Okay. Right down around the corner this way. All right. Come on in here. Well, that was an interesting turn of events there at the end of that case.
Yes.
You knew that was coming?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, the proof was right there on the paper.
Were you worried when he turned over his phone records to the judge and said that number was not going to be in there?
No, I was not worried because his number is all over my brother's boyfriend's phone. So, I mean, the number's there and he's a liar.
All right. Do you think you've heard the end of him?
I hope so. So hopefully he can move on with whatever he's doing now.
Okay. Harvey?
You know, the advantage of getting an order of protection is that you don't have to go through a long trial. If you can simply prove that the person violates the order, they can end up being held in contempt and they go to jail. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.